In our repertoire, Y pre-snap move. Again, we call it STEM. We make it a part of the front call, so we can call it from the sideline. Um, there's been years where we build it in. Anytime we call this front, we are going to move. Period. It's built in. We teach it to them from day one, and we don't have to call it. So I don't have to worry about standing on the sideline calling it. Right? It's built in. It presents a different look. It gives a different presentation to the offense. Again, they're so used to blocking a 3 and a shade and a 5, but all of a sudden now we're in a 0 and a 4-eye and it's tough for them because offense is going to be practiced so much. They only have so much time to practice looks. So the more we can present something different, yet still be simple, it's on our advantage. Silent library. So again, a hand signals only deal. We do this and on the during practice, no talking. Just hand signal it in, signal our defense, and have them run through it. Just a good way to practice it. STEM is the D-line's disguise, just like a DB's disguise is press bail. Stemming is a defensive lineman's disguise, all right? Moving from one technique to another. And then we love this on third and short, right? Third and short, you have nothing to lose. It's 3rd and 1. If you jump off sides, you lose a half yard. If the offense jumps off sides, it's a lot more damaging to them. So we love it on 3rd and short. We love it down near our goal line. Again, how much yards are we going to lose versus if we stem pre-snap, they're likely to jump off sides a lot. Or once or twice a game, you'll get teams, especially if you do it right, especially if you do it with the right timing, and that's something we'll talk about. Snap count is crucial. Study it. You got to know when to stem, when to move, when to say stem, move, whatever word you're going to use. It's very specific when you want to do it. You just don't want to give them random. You want to be very specific when you do that. You got to marry it up with the quarterback's cadence. So if it's a team that goes blue, blue, set, go. Well, we teach our kids that we want them to say the stem word when they say set. So blue, blue, sit. So when he gets the S in set, we're going to stem. So that marries up with what they're doing. If it's a down, set, hut team, well, we'll probably do it on set. So studying their cadence. Sometimes this is if you go out and scout an opponent, you know it ahead of time. If you play them a lot in your conference, you know their cadence. If not, you might take you a series or two for your guys to learn what their cadence is. But timing that up so that you stem right at the last possible moment. All right, our mic makes the stem or move call. And then, a lot of teams, a lot of offenses don't like that. They'll say you're trying to, yell their snap count, even though you're not. You're just stemming your front. So then we would then employ our 3 technique down here to do it because the mic's standing right next to the official, the umpire. He can hear him. So they might tell you, hey, no more yelling like that. So then we'll have our 3 technique to call it. That was a good hint or a good tip I got years ago. It makes the offensive lineman think quick and change calls. Again, static, target that doesn't move versus a moving target's harder to hit. They got to communicate and make them play on the run. And again, we can go from odd to even, even to odd, over to under. Lots of different ways that you can move. All right, so here, this is looks like we're in a left call, or this is just a stem call. So we started in an under front down here. Motion occurs, boom, we stem over. And again, nobody comes free per se, but what happens is you get some nice movement, changes up their blocking scheme. You can see a lot of black shirts here on the offense. Missed assignments, not getting good solid contact like they normally would if we were just standing there. So again, nothing outrageous. Here's a good end zone copy of it. We lined up in an under front here, and all we did was pre-snap stem to an over front. All right, easy. Nice, cheap, easy thing you could build into your system. So here it is again. Little pre-snap movement. This is 3rd down and 1. We stem over, and that offensive tackle jumps off sides, and we get them back to 3rd and 6. All right. So again, nothing crazy, not a big investment, very, very inexpensive for us as a defense to put this in. All right, so here we go. We did this a little bit. We started in basically an odd front. We were 4-eye, we were 0, we were 5. And then we would just walk him down late. The D-line would stem over. So again, offenses, they are very, very diligent in what they do. They're very robotic, I'd say, in what they do. And hey, if it's a 3 down, we're going to block it this way. If it's a 4 down, we're going to block it this way. So now we're making these 16, 17-year-old kids think and make calls and make adjustments at the last minute. And sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. And we get a TFL. All right, so that's pre-snap, and that's all well and good. Build it in however you like. But something we do a lot of as well is post-snap movement. All right, like I mentioned before, like I alluded to, it's hard to hit a moving target. I don't care what you're talking about. Football, shooting a rifle, throwing a football. If you're standing there, I could probably hit you, be pretty accurate with you standing there. The minute you sprint across, now it's a little more difficult. That difficulty level just went up a little bit. Good way to steal gaps from an offense, right? Steal gaps from an offense. We'll draw it up here in a little bit, but a good way to steal gaps. Very good for undersized defensive linemen. Again, Pine Richland, where I'm at, it's a public school. We can't recruit kids. We get who we get. Some years we got some big kids. Some years we got little kids. So post-snap movement's a good way to be able to use your speed a little bit. We go from an over to an under front. Great versus tight end trade or strength change as well. So the old school 1990s, early 2000s tight end trade and 21 personnel. Instead of resetting our front, we could stay in an over front, but then stem back to the side the tight end trades to. We get the best of both worlds, front side or bat side. You'll see in the whiteboard that we can play gaps 2 ways. You can play a gap with your body, or you can play a gap with his body. All right, and then there's a technique that we use. It's a wipe technique that you gotta understand there, but something that we'll talk about here in a second. All right, so here's the wipe technique. So post snap movement. So for instance, we're moving this way. All right, so just say for whatever reason, this tackle is going to the B gap. He knows a wipe is when he gets a down block. If you're ever going to a B gap as a tackle and you get a down block by the tackle, we do what we call is wipe it. All right, we want to wipe the down block. All right, he wipes over the tackle and then works back inside. Now, because we still have our end out here, if he wipes out around and works inside, if he gets any type of fullback or kick out, he now has to spill that. He has to spill that outside to his defensive end. And that's what he normally does. He's a tackle. He spills everything if he's unblocked. But just understanding that. Why do we wipe? Because if he's going to the B gap and this guy blocks down on us, that's likely going to be a big crease there. And then our DNs out here, they kick him. They can get a nice seam there. All right, so that's a wipe versus a down block. And here's a good image of it here. I think I got an end zone picture of it. All right, so here we go. Right here. So our tackle's going to the B gap. This tackle blocks down. He wipes around it nice and tight right there. All right. Because he knows he's going, well, this guy's coming here. Oh, we're running our 6-man, so that's our linebacker there. But nonetheless, somebody's coming to that gap. All right. Next one, wipe versus pass set. So now these guys are pass setting. So I'm going to that gap. All right. My tackle pass sets. Well, then I continue, all right, to rush my gap. Versus pass set defensive tackle, I work back inside. All right. Versus pass set, defender's shoulder should know they're in high shoulder or low shoulder. So in this case here, he's high shoulder, he's low shoulder being the tackle. Both our tackles are low shoulder guys. Both our ends are high shoulder guys. All right. Here's a picture here. So again, it's that same double A gap pressure. All right, now I know this isn't the full line movement, but nonetheless, this is a short stick by both tackles. They're both going to the B gap. They get a pass set. You see the tackle down here. He's going here. He gets a pass set by the tackle. He's going to continue and rush back in his B gap, or his B gap. Here's a good end zone copy of it. All right, so he's there. He pass sets. Very good.